not come to this earth to compete against each other. We've come to complete each other. That many of our modern systems that we've created are in a way designed to not only promote violence but also profit from violence. The capacity for dialogue with the other. If one wants to choose nonviolence, we need to be able to see, have empathy for the other and have a deep capacity to engage in dialogue. Otherwise, it will be again at a just walking down the street and saying we're protesting nonviolently is not enough of a strategy.
Yeah.
So in terms of it as a philosophy or as a strategy, this idea to cultivate deep dialogue is very, very important. The extreme right, the extreme left, they are basically triggers. So if this person says this, I get triggered. And if people can move beyond the trigger, there's another space which is there. And the way we help people do that is to get into some creative process, like farming together or cooking together. There is, I think there's still a lot of collective trauma and open wounds that people, again, across ideological things, are carrying right now.
You're saying across the entire ideological spectrum?
Everybody has a wound. Everybody is, and trauma is actually at a subcontinent level.
Say more.
It's not just in India. It's with all of our neighbors, because our neighbors were not our neighbors before. They were all part of us. I posted on my Facebook something which was anti-CAA, and I got several people personally writing to me. Most of them, I don't say I knew very well, but a few of them I knew very well. And they're saying, how can you do this? And we're really angry with you. How could you be anti-CAA? And at that point, I felt, this reaction like, screw you, I'll post whatever I want. But then I took a breath and I started an engagement. I didn't get triggered. And I started engagement. I said, okay, what do you feel? What's upsetting you? And I started to, and I remember one specific one, like at least 20 minutes, we were just chatting. And a few times in the chat, I said, I just want you to know, I also respect your position. I love you. I care for you. And then we resumed the chat. And by the end, there was a very deep shift in position. We were working in one government school in Delhi with this Creativity Adda. So many of the teachers have come and said, what did you do to these kids? I said, what do you mean? I said, some of these kids were like so shaitani, so aggressive, so violent. How did they shift in 2-3 months? Their energy has totally changed. And it's because they get space to be creative, to express themselves, to explore things, to build their own confidence. And a lot of violence is because people don't feel confidence in themselves. And then they need to dominate somebody else to feel good about themselves. So just this shift of having space for kids to do things that they're creative, whether it's music or cooking or dance or building things, whatever those spaces are, it's very, very important that we start to reclaim them.